We've had postcard weather all week here in Southern California as the Cubs wrap up a series with the San Diego Padres, and a win tonight would be the Cubs' first series win here in San Diego in 5 years. The Cubs and the Padres here on Comcast Sportsnet. Great to have you with us, Jim DeShays and Len Casper. The Cubs with a one-run win last night. Interesting, the starter did not qualify for the win, but he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was a big part of the win. We weren't sure what we were going to see from Yoshi Iwata last night. What we saw was pretty impressive stuff. 4 2/3, he punched out 9, faced the minimum through 3, had 7 strikeouts in the first 3 innings of that ball game. The Padre hitters really just could not catch up to his fastball, sneaky short arm delivery. He was mystifying these Padre hitters. For 4 2/3, Joe Madden felt like he was running out of gas. He had to run the bases, went to the bullpen. They too were outstanding.
And tonight's starters, Kyle Hendricks still looking for his first win. He has left with the lead, however, 4 different times. And Odrisamer Despagne, he has not been very good here as of late.
No, the last 2 starts, he's really gotten knocked around. You see his numbers for his last 3, 19 earned runs in 9 2/3 innings of work. Kyle Hendricks picked up his first major league win last year in Chicago against the Padres. Maybe that will be the magic for him here tonight.
And a Cubs bullpen that had been inconsistent, able to cover the final 4 1/3 last night. 5 relievers kept the Padres off the board in the Cubs win. We'll have Game 3, the rubber match, next.
Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Warmed up just a little bit here in San Diego tonight. Sun is shining here in the late afternoon hours, and we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Ace and Tech in Harpers Ferry, Iowa tonight, as the Cubs try to win their first series in this ballpark in 5 seasons. A weekend in Arizona looming. The Diamondbacks just completed a 4-game series sweep at Miami. So they're probably on their plane right now, flying home. And a lot of Cub fans here in Southern California rooting on their team, including Jeff Garlin, the comedian and actor. We had some laughs in Joe's office today. That cross-pollination is fun. Joe, one of his favorite shows is Curb Your Enthusiasm. And he was kind of playing fanboy today. It was neat.
He was going through the whole catalog of shows. And how about the one where Larry does this? And how about the one where Larry says that?
Well, Jeff Garlin met with the media today along with Joe and offered Joe Madden a job in the offseason.
If we do more Curb Your Enthusiasm, I promise you will be on there.
Okay, that's
my word.
Okay.
My word. I will wrestle Larry.
Even if I get to walk behind the two of you, I get an encounter.
By the way, I think we're going to do that. We're going to have you in your Cubs uniform, just walking back and forth behind us.
Just like photobomb you guys all the time. That'd be awesome.
Good stuff. He's not sure what's wrong with his finger, by the way. He's getting it checked out. It just doesn't feel right. But he is a huge Cub fan. He watches every game. He says he watches the Cubs on TV and he listens to the Dodgers on the radio. Biggest baseball fan around. So good to have him here as the Cubs and the Padres wrap up this series. And the Cubs facing Odrisamer Despaigne for the first time. And the right-hander will face this Southwest starting lineup for the Cubs. Dexter Fowler in the leadoff spot. Look at that, 14 runs over his last dozen games. Chris Bryant went to college here in San Diego, had the game-winning RBI last night. He's playing third, batting second. Former Padre Anthony Rizzo playing first. Starlin Castro in the cleanup spot. Miguel Montero, the only Cub with previous at-bats against Despaigne. Soler in right, Coghlan in left. Kyle Hendricks, the pitcher, batting eighth, with Addison Russell ninth.
The Friars defensively, Upton, Venable, Kemp left, center, right. Third to first will go Middlebrooks, Amarista, Spangenberg, and Solarte. Derek Norris behind the plate, and Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher. Odrisamer Despaigne, a right-hander from Cuba. This is his second year with the Padres. He's appeared in 8 games, 4 starts, 4 times out of the pen. Got off to a pretty good start, but has really scuffled here lately, and it all adds up to a 2-2 record of .675 earned run average. And note those splits. Right-handed pitcher far better against left-handed hitters than against righties. Fastball with sink, cutter, curveball, and a changeup.
Here are your umpires tonight. Ed Hickox works the plate. Mike Estabrook at first. Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, at second. Paul Nauert over at third.
Last time out, Despaigne allowed 7 earned runs on 10 hits in 3 innings of work. Previous start, 8 earned runs on 10 hits in 5 innings of work.
And if tonight's Cubs leadoff man gets a hit, Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to Make-A-Wish, Illinois. And we are underway. Middlebrook's way in at third. And the fastball is outside. 2-0 the count. Now 2-1.
Yeah, interesting. Fowler doesn't really bunt that often for hits. Beautiful day here, 64 degrees. But Middlebrooks, looks like it's his intention to make sure that he doesn't even try. Very shallow at third base, well off the line. Maybe just trying to get into Fowler's head a little bit.
The pitch, ball 4. Good start. And now it's Chris Bryant, who's got an active 9-game hitting streak. Go-ahead sac fly ended up being the game winner last night in the 5th inning. The kick, and the first offering is a strike on a fastball at 92. Despaigne, 6 feet, 205 pounds. 28 years old, signed with the Padres last year and made his debut on June 23rd. Driven to deep center. Way back, Venable will watch it go! 2 batters in, 2-0 Cubs.
Cub fans on their feet applauding Chris Bryant. The USD product gives the Cubs an early lead. He's got a bunch of family and friends here, as does tonight's starting pitcher Kyle Hendricks, so they're all happy about this swing of the bat. There's your Ford home run replay. That's number 5 for Bryant. RBIs 26 and 7.
So early run support for Kyle Hendricks. Swing and a miss by Anthony Rizzo. Well, the old adage is get him on, get him over, get him in, but how about just get him on and get him in?
A little on base plus slugging. The walk followed by the home run.
Strike called. It's 0-2. Off the bat, 101 miles an hour to straightaway center for Chris Bryant.
Well, we talked about those reverse splits for Despaigne. He has allowed 5 home runs now. They've all come to right-handed hitters. Likes to work the cut fastball in on the hands of the lefties and has a pretty good changeup. He just doesn't have that put-away pitch against right-handers.
Woes never stop improving. OPS leaders going into today's action. And Rizzo right in the middle of that very impressive group.
Yeah, it's the all-star first base situation in the National League is going to be very interesting to sort out because there's some guys having monster years. Oh, that was a swing and it hit him.
Yeah, if it hit him, he's out.
Yeah, it becomes a dead ball. He's not able to take his base.
So some confusion here at home plate.
And I don't know if this is reviewable or not, but it certainly is something that Ed Hickox could ask for help from with his fellow umpires.
He looks like he needs some help from the other umpires.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those plays you just, nobody anticipates it. Nobody on the field, whether you're a player or an umpire. It's so rare.
I'm not sure Paul Nauert knows either. They all kind of have that.
Everybody has that look about him.
Deer in the headlights.
Are you sure you want me to help? Yeah, somebody's got it. Yeah.
So, ironically, that is Anthony's third consecutive strikeout after 38 consecutive plate appearances in which he did not strike out. So he swings, and the ball clearly hit him. So, yeah, that's the right call. Now, Joe wants an explanation.
Yeah, this happened a couple times last year where he'd strike out on balls that hit him. Or swing and miss anyway on balls that hit him.
Yeah, and I think the conversation there was, Joe said, I didn't see you call swing, but Ed Hickox said he did, and I thought he pointed at Rizzo as well. It was just a matter of, did somebody see the ball hit him? So here's Castro. And he takes ball one outside. We have a situation in Atlanta. Will Smith was ejected from the game tonight by crew chief Jim Joyce for having some sort of foreign substance on his arm.
What's the concoction they accused Buchholz in Boston with last year?
Roller into center for a base hit. Yeah, I don't know.
Sunscreen and lotion or something.
Right,
guys sprayed on, and it gives them a little slippery. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Smith. But
now Montero, the catcher.
Bud Black got 7 innings out of his starter last night, Tyson Ross, so his bullpen's in pretty good shape. And given the way Despaign's been going along here lately, it may be a fairly quick hook for him if he doesn't get things turned around.
Fouled away. His father was a pitcher in Cuba. He's from Havana. Defected following the 2012-2013 season. And again signed with the Padres last year. Upton gliding in, and he's got it. So that's out number 2. Montero now 0 for 8 in the series, and here comes Soler, who had 2 hits last night. Second injured starter Despaigne has filled in for in their rotation. Earlier it was Ian Kennedy. Right now it's Brandon Morrow.
So he made a couple of starts and then worked out of the bullpen before moving back into the rotation for these last 2, make it 3 with tonight.
There's Ian Kennedy.
Made 16 starts for the Padres last year, had a .336 earned run average.
So this matchup between 2 guys who are both from not only Cuba but Havana. Despaigne and Soler. 2 balls, no strikes. The pitch. He was taking all the way. 2-1. Let's think about the hardest fastball we've seen here in the first. Foul tip for strike 3. Second punch out for Despagne. Chris Bryant took him deep, 417 feet. 5th career home run, and the Cubs lead the Padres 2-0 with San Diego coming up. Let's look at Bud Black's Padres starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest. Corey Spangenberg in the leadoff spot. Derek Norris, who won the game 2 nights ago, bats second again. Matt Kemp's had a slow series. Justin Upton homered last night. Solarte at first. Venable in center. Will Middlebrooks, his second straight start at third. Alexi Amarista is the shortstop, and Despagne, the pitcher, hits ninth.
Coughlin, Fowler, Soler will chase down the fly balls, the ground balls. That will fall to Bryant, Castro, Russell, and Rizzo. Montero will flash the signs. Hendricks will do the pitching. He's the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Cubs here tonight. Kyle 0-1 through 7 starts with a 5.15 earned run average, pitching in front of family and friends here in Southern California.
Bouncer to Addison Russell, who gets Spangenberg. Spangenberg now 0 for his last 18 after that ground out. You see the numbers for Hendricks. A high ERA, but as I mentioned in the open, he has left with the lead 4 different times.
Yeah, and he's left some inherited runners on that have come around to score. He has not pitched deep into games. That obviously is going to influence that ERA some. And I think Joe Maddon's going to be willing to push him or extend him a little bit here tonight. Bullpen did a lot of the heavy lifting in the ball game last night. 4 1/3 from the pen in last night's win.
Ball 1 on Derek Norris.
He's had a small zone in this series.
Chop to third. Bryant's got it. 2 down.
Two hitters isn't enough to call a trend, but a good start for Hendricks with a couple of ground balls. When he's on his game, he'll get a bunch of them.
Matt Kemp has 1 home run this season, and it was off Kyle Hendricks back on April the 18th at Wrigley Field. Kind of hard to believe he only has 1. Which means he's probably due for a bundle in a short amount of time.
Not done much at all here in a good while. Hitting for average. The power number's not good.
Padres will head to Los Angeles after this one. They play the Dodgers and the Angels, so it's a bus trip. How about the Dodgers? Not only did they get swept in San Francisco against their biggest rival, they did not score in the entire series. They were shut out again 4-0.
Yeah, today it was Bumgarner and Kershaw for the third time this year.
And the previous 2 games against the Rockies, they scored a total of 2 runs. So that's 5 games and 2 runs for the Dodgers. Two. It's full with Upton lurking on deck. Let's rather face him to lead off the bottom of the second. Swing and a miss. He got him on a fastball to end the inning. Padres go down quietly. 1-2-3. Cubs 2. Odds nothing after 1. Using the hashtag Cubs Talk, and make sure to follow us on Twitter at CSN Cubs. An early 2-0 advantage as Chris Coghlan hit a couple of homers in game 1. He'll lead it off, and he takes a curve for a strike. 8 for 25 with 3 home runs in his career in this ballpark. That breaking ball is slashed into the left field corner. Fair ball. And that's a double.
And Coghlan with the 2 home run game here the other day. Now has 6 long balls. He's been hitting the ball in the air with authority much more frequently this year than he has in the past. When he gets into a bad rut, he'll roll over on that breaking ball, hit it on the ground to the right side. When he stays through it, thinks left center and center, good things happen for Coghlan.
So here's the deal. And the Cubs probably attempt fewer sack bunts with their pitchers than most teams. The only two teams currently in the National League without a sac bunt successfully executed by a pitcher, the Cubs and the Padres. How about that?
Yeah, a lot of times what Joe does is he'll send his pitcher up there and turn him loose early in the at bat, and then with 2 strikes, say, okay, probably not going to get anything done with 2 strikes. Let's go ahead and try to sacrifice a man over. He hates to give up the outs. In this situation, I'm sure he's just thinking, let's get this guy to third base with 1 out, and with Hendricks being the hitter, it's probably more likely to happen with a bunt than swinging away. Ironically, he bunted out a bad ball and popped it up.
Out that ball rocketed foul the other way. The Cubs do have sac bunts, just none from their pitchers. They have 6 total. Final game of the season series. A win tonight, and the Cubs would finish 3-3. And San Diego 1-2-3 in April, and Coghlan thought about it, but the ball didn't get away from Norris far enough.
Good decision by Coghlan to slam on the brakes. Kind of looked like a little duck in a shooting gallery there.
Another bat goes flying out of the hands of Addison Russell. Fortunately, everybody's all right as he strikes out.
Well, things started well with that leadoff double, then a failed sacrifice, punch out for Russell, and now falls to Dexter Fowler to try to get this run home. Fowler among the leaders in baseball out of that leadoff spot with a .355 on base percentage, .359 overall, .439 slugging, well above average for a leadoff man. Just about everybody in this Cubs lineup at least a little bit better than league average in terms of on base and slugging.
So the run tonight, that's 15 times he's crossed the plate in his last 13 games.
He's got a .355 on base, .359, whatever it was. .416 Bryant, .460 Rizzo. This was coming into play tonight. So the guy who's benefited the most from that is Starlin Castro. He's had a ton of plate appearances with men on base.
Miguel Montero, .404. It was a big area of improvement for this team after the last few years. Two the count. Good slide and block by Norris.
Espana has good action on that curveball. The command's been a little spotty. Every now and then he'll flip up a real slow one. Likes to change his arm angle, drop down low 3/4 from time to time.
Padres starters have 26 quality outings. That's the most among all rotations in baseball. Tyson Ross took the loss last night, although he had a quality start, as Fowler walks again. And here's Bryant again. 2-run homer his first time up. The Cubs have 2 3-run homers this year. He's hit both. Everything else of the solo or 2-run variety.
That was I don't want any part of this guy pitch right there.
That's the he took me deep the last time up. First pitch. So the home run extended his hitting streak to 10.
Let him. Hanging breaking ball. Straightaway center. Any part of any park for Bryant. Great power the other way. Despaign's perhaps his biggest challenge mentally tonight was taking this start, trying to erase his memory of his previous 2 starts. And Bryant providing a reminder with that swing of the bat in the first. So boom, just like that, he was down 2.
Got him on a changeup to end the inning. He has struck out 4 early. Cubs lead 2-0 after an inning and a half.
Monday, it's Memorial Day, and the Nationals are in, followed by Kansas City. 6-game homestand. Cubs.com to get your tickets. It'll be the first place Washington Nationals, first place Kansas City Royals. Here's the scene from Atlanta earlier on this evening.
Yeah, Will Smith only threw 4 pitches. So there's some sort of shiny substance on his arm, and that's it. Jim Joyce said, "You're out." That inning blew up on the Brewers. Garza started the inning. Smith, Kotz, and Blazek had to come in. The Braves scored 7 runs to take an 8-1 lead. So we don't know what was on his arm, but clearly there was something.
Oh, yeah, it's a big pile of goo.
So yeah, that looks suspicious. Nice play by Russell, and he gets Upton.
Well, was it Michael Pineda last year that had the pine tar behind his ear?
Right.
And that wasn't really subtle. I mean, if you're going to go out there and try to doctor the ball up, you got to be a little creative.
One strike on Solarte, switch hitter.
A lot of guys will put pine tar on their hat. They'll put some combination of pine tar and rosin, some sticky substance. And generally, there's so many guys that do it. Nobody really gets too excited about it, and that's normally used just to enhance grip. It's not really to doctor and change the natural movement of the baseball. So that's why I think umpires and everybody else looks the other way. But when you're using a substance to create unnatural movement on the ball, whether it's whatever Smith had going, or lotion, saliva, that's illegal, and you're going to get kicked out.
Well, yeah, the other part of it is just the amount of baseballs that get thrown out of play, like that one. If an umpire starts to notice a pattern that some balls are really doctored up, we're going to create suspicion. How about that pitch? Way out in front for his second strikeout. And we'll bring up Will Venable. Well, I've heard of infielders having pine tar or something in their gloves, so when they throw the ball around the horn, that way the pitcher kind of stays out of it. There are a lot of different ways to conceal it.
I knew a catcher that would scuff the ball for the pitcher on his shin guards.
Bounce towards center. And Russell was not going to have a play on Venable, even if he grabbed it cleanly. That's a single for Venable, their first hit.
Another ground ball. There's been 3 ground ball outs, a couple of punch outs. Now this ground ball single is, and it's got Venable to beat it into the ground. Russell pursuing this one like he was going to try to make a play, but there would have been none on Venable, who runs quite well. He may be inclined to try to steal a bag here.
Strike on Will Middlebrooks. Couple of hits in game 2, including a double. A man on, 2 down.
Must have been a little high.
Because of the 5 relievers who had to cover the final 4 1/3 last night, Joe really would like Kyle Hendricks to work fairly deep into this game. I mean, he'd always like his starter to eat up as many innings as possible.
Yeah, and he's trying to stay away from Rondon tonight, or not, Strop. Probably going to try to stay away from Grimm and maybe Roscup. So there's basically different phases or different levels of availability, right? All systems go, good to go, Skip, okay. There's going to try to stay away from you if I can, but might use you. I'll use you only in emergency, and then there's just down. There's no way I'm going to use you tonight.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. So what was that, 4 levels?
Whatever I said.
Color coded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Red, orange,
I got you.
Green.
2-0 Cubs after 2.
Caution. Bleacher Friday, starting with the Beach Bash on May 29th. All Bleacher fans 21 and older will receive a pair of sunglasses for the game while enjoying special entertainment. There'll be music, concessions, a beach-themed post-game party in Wrigleyville. Should be a lot of fun. Come check it out. Information and tickets at Cubs.com.
Strike called on Anthony Rizzo, underway in the top half of the third. Big leg kick. Cutter that time off the inside corner. Rizzo struck out in the first inning on a pitch that ended up hitting him.
Yeah, that's what his last two at-bats he punched out last night. They were throwing him breaking balls down and in. You turn the clock back a couple of years ago, that was a bit of a problem pitch for him. It hasn't been really at all this year.
And you can tell he's grinding right now. Chokes up a little bit with 2 strikes. And he fights that one off, but all he can do is pop to the shortstop behind second base. That's Amarista. So Clayton Kershaw had never allowed a home run to an opposing pitcher before this blast by Madison Bumgarner. And he got all of it in the Giants' 4-0 win to complete a sweep in which the Dodgers did not score.
Third rematch, or third matchup this year between those two. Kershaw, the reigning Cy Young Award winner, reigning MVP, and Bumgarner, the MVP of the World Series. It's kind of like Ali Frazier.
Yeah, Bumgarner 5-2 with the win. He's got a .284. Kershaw's 2-3 with a .432. I think he'll probably be just fine when it's all said and done.
Time to place a wager on Kershaw, because you know those numbers at the end of the year are going to look very similar to the numbers he's put up the past few years. You see the strong pull shift on the infield, but they play him the other way a little bit in the outfield.
He rolled one into center in the first inning. Came in hitting a .179 over his previous 10 games.
He hits the ball on the ground a lot to the pull side. And he'll move it around in the outfield. He's at his best when he's looking to shoot it the other way. Talked about most of the Cub hitters being above average in terms of, on base and slugging. Starlin would be one of the exceptions. He's below average in both of those departments right now.
Full count with Montero next. And the Spanier will get Castro. We mentioned the Diamondbacks just swept Miami in a 4-gamer, the 5th 4-game road sweep in Diamondbacks history. Miami fell to 0-7. On their current homestand, in 0-4 since Dan Jennings took over as their manager. 7-6 the final. Will be in Arizona tomorrow night. Ender Inciarte had 3 hits, 2 more for A.J. Pollock, who had a good series. High and deep off the bat of Miguel Montero. Kemp is back, and it's going to be off the fence. picked up by Venable. It's a double for Montero, who just missed a home run. That's his first hit of the series.
Big yard here. I thought he got enough of it. Came close. Had to settle for 2 bases instead of 4. Lean back on that one. Right at the base of the wall. RBI chance for Soler.
Montero now is 4 for 12 against Despaigne. Faced him last year with Arizona. And the only Cub who had previous experience against Despaigne coming into tonight. Do you know who the last first-time manager was who started 0-4?
I don't.
He probably called all 4 games.
Larry Durker?
Tony DeFrancesco.
Tony DeFrancesco.
2012, according to stats.
Hired to replace Brad Mills.
We'll get a look at Yasmani Tomas tomorrow night. He has 6 straight multi-hit games. Off the end of the bat in the air, and it's Upton to put it away, and that will end the Cubs' threat here in the 3rd. 2-out double, but no runs. After the late Hall of Famer, Mr. Padre, Captain Video, last June 16th. But our T-Mobile game changer, one of the best pure hitters in the history of the game. .338 was his career batting average. It put him in the top 20 all-time. 1994, hit .394. Highest batting average in the National League since 1930. Batting champ 8 times. 15 times was an all-star. And when you think of the San Diego Padres, you think of number 19.
You said it best. The best pure hitters of all time is one line drive after another. That was his game. That's what he was all about. He could have hit for more power. He said so. I mean, you watch him take BP and he hit balls into the second deck, but his mindset was differently. High average hitter, hit the ball hard all around the field. When he was a young guy, could really run, steal a bunch of bases.
Yeah, he stole 56 bags back in 1987. Marista swings and misses.
not only Mr. Padre, but I mean, from this area, played at San Diego State, went back and coached at San Diego State after his playing career.
He's a part-time broadcaster here with the Padres as well.
I'm trying to think of another player that is similarly linked to their hometown like that.
Yep. Marista lines out to start the third. Now the pitcher, España.
Cal Ripken, maybe. Cal, he grew up in the Baltimore area, right? His dad was coaching with the O's. At least spent part of his childhood there.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it. Bob Uecker. Although,
where's Uecker from? Is he from?
He's from Milwaukee.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Three and one.
Kyle Hendricks, as we mentioned, he's a Southern California kid, born in Newport Beach, grew up in Mission Viejo, Capistrano Valley High School.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 4. Ricky Henderson was born in Chicago, but he did go to high school in Oakland.
Yeah, grew up in Oakland.
Yep.
Yeah, and I guess the Gwynn story is so unique because his whole career.
Yes. Yep. Joe Mauer would love to have that sort of connection with his hometown Twins. Spangenberg bounces out. Hendricks has been really good early. He's allowed just 1 hit. That was an infield single. And it's 2-0 Cubs.
The 4th, Wednesday, the 27th. Cubs play the Nationals. First pitch is at 7:05, and the first 10,000 fans at the ballpark will receive a Cubs hat presented by the Conquer Cancer Foundation. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Good looking lid.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a lot of good responses on the hometown kid thing. Pete Rose from Cincinnati, but he played for some other teams. But yeah, your Tony Gwynn line is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, he's Mr. Padre. You could say Mr. San Diego.
San Diego,
yeah. Coughlin lines out. Hendricks splinters his bat as he grounds out to Spangenberg. 2 quick outs.
Let me ask you a question. Whenever you say Spangenberg, do you think of the Spandau Ballet?
Now I will.
Cross your mind? Yeah.
No. What was their big hit? True?
Dun, 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 dun. Something like that.
I know this much is true. That's the song, right? Thanks. I have that on my mind all weekend. Wait a minute. You're Mr. I didn't grow up in a musical household or whatever, and you drop a Spandau Ballet
man.
Okay.
It was like the early days of MTV.
Yes, right.
Going back to our place in spring training and turning it on and watching Martha Quinn and Nina Blackwood and all the VJs.
We got another good one. This one might be the best one we've heard since Tony Gwynn. Barry Larkin.
Yep.
And it fits all the categories. From Cincinnati, whole career in Cincinnati, Hall of Fame.
Yep.
What hurts his cause in this kind of nebulous debate is that
the post.
The post career and the fact that the Reds have such a long history that you could come up with other quote Mr. Reds,
right.
Whereas the Padres have only been around since '69, and about half of that, Gwynn was a Padre, so pretty good though.
Barry's not thought of as Mr. Red,
right?
But yeah, that's a good one. There's that slower curveball. He's flipped it up there a couple of times now.
Hit hard the other way into right.
I had some good hair, the Spandau Ballet. Solid crack of the bat here. Addison Russell inside out swing on that fastball. 0 for 4 last night with 3 punch outs. Started tonight with a strikeout, so that swing of the bat had to feel awfully good for him.
Out front and pulled foul.
Now, if you want to translate it to other sports, think about a guy like maybe Rocket Richard in Montreal, linked to his hometown like that.
Lou Gehrig also brought up. Yeah, a lot of good ones. Fowler.
Where's Pie Trainer from?
Pie Trainer?
I don't know.
I don't know. Spandau Ballet, everybody. 2-0.
And game-used Cubs items. This week's auction includes signage from the Wrigley Field collection. Go to Cubs.com/Authentic. Before Sunday night at 8 to place your bid, the Cubs will donate net proceeds from the sale of Cubs Authentics to Cubs charities.
Tomorrow night we'll focus on Kajagoogoo. Maybe a little animotion on Saturday. Here's Derek Norris against Kyle Hendricks.
Hendricks not as dominating with the strikeout pitch as Watto was early last night, but every bit as efficient. He's allowed just one base runner so far.
So I asked Kyle, he went to Dartmouth. I said, any California colleges in the mix? He said, yeah. His top two choices were Dartmouth and the University of San Diego, which is where Chris Bryant ended up going. And right on cue, Bryant will barehand out at first.
Make a little bit of an adjustment there. I think he thought this ball was going to travel a little further than it did, but good concentration. Nice clean play with the bare hand.
Now Kemp struck out swinging in the first. So USD was definitely in the mix. He said his parents assumed he was going to come to school here. He ultimately picked Dartmouth. He didn't think he was going to, baseball-wise, pitch a lot here in the early going. That was part of it, and kind of like the Ivy League component at Dartmouth. Fouled away.
Looking at some Dartmouth stuff earlier today. I want to say Mike Remlinger, the winningest pitcher in Major League history from Dartmouth. 50-some odd wins.
Sounds right. Got him on a changeup. And the Bluebirds letting Matt Kemp hear about it. Fifth strikeout for Hendricks.
Yeah, Kemp is just a mess right now. First time he swung and missed at a fastball, 90 miles an hour, was pretty much over the heart of the plate. This time well out front of the cut changeup from Hendricks. For Kyle, I mean, he's got a real good changeup. But I think, it starts with the sinker, because if he gets in trouble, falls behind in the count, when his sinker's good, he can throw that over the plate, just keep it down around the knees and count on getting a ground ball. When he doesn't have that go-to sinker to rely on, he has to work a lot harder at it, work out of the zone more often than he would prefer.
Two and one on Upton, who had success in this ballpark as a Diamondback and Brave, and even more now wearing the home uniform. And a base hit to right. I was just thinking what Ryan Klesko and Brian Giles must be thinking, because remember how outspoken they were about how much they hated this ballpark when it opened. And I'm sure now in retirement they're probably even more upset that they've moved the fences in. Like, dude, why didn't you do that when we were here? Pretty big difference, home and road for Upton. And he just took off, and he's going to get second without a throw. Number 9 for Upton.
Yeah, he's doing everything this year. 9 out of 9 for Upton in the stolen base department. Montero didn't bother coming out of his crouch, and that was probably a good idea because he had no shot. Look at the jump he gets. He's gone about a half a second before Kyle even gets started.
Fowler in center. Retires Solarte. And through 4, it's the Cubs 2 and the Padres nothing.
To Universal Orlando Resort, full of adventure, excitement, and magic. Enter to win at csnchicago.com/universal now through Sunday.
The unmistakable pipes of one Jeff Garland. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you, fellas?
We're doing great.
Good.
So I finally got to see a Chris Bryant home run.
You did?
And truly, like you hear the sound of it, it's different. Because the second he hit it, you go, what? I've never heard that before. That's nuts.
And he's up again.
Yeah, oh my God.
So you're here with Sean Green, the former big leaguer.
Yes.
You saw the Cubs schedule. You're performing this weekend, and you said, I got to go Thursday night.
I got to go. That's exactly it, man. It never works out this way. And this year, lo and behold, it worked out.
Knocked down by Despagne.
But here's the thing. Chris Bryant, he tried the whole time. Did you see that? He ran hard. That's the kind of Cub team we have.
Respect's 90. That's Joe's big thing. Respect 90. Run
and
hard down
keep
the line.
It simple. What's a simple thing that he wears the T-shirt?
Do simple better?
Do simple better, yeah. So I did the press conference before the game, sitting next to Joe.
Yeah, we had a bite.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. You talked about him. He's going to photobomb you. You're going to put him on curb.
Put him on curb, yes. And he can walk around the background in his uniform. Larry would like that. That'd be funny. We should really do that. Well, hopefully we'll do more. All right.
Rizzo pops it up. Foul territory and caught by Middlebrooks.
You don't have to think of what to ask me. I'm right here with you.
No. I was thinking, Brian Doyle Murray. Have you gone to any games with Brian?
I've never gone to a game with Brian.
We saw him here. We haven't seen him in San Diego in a while. You should get Brian to come on out one of these days.
By the way, he is one of the greatest guys going ever.
No doubt.
I love Brian.
No doubt.
The greatest, yes.
And what a first screenplay. He wrote Caddyshack with Harold Ramis.
That was, yes.
That's the first one? You kidding?
That's a great one out of the box. Are you kidding me? You know, I didn't even watch. Bill was on Letterman 2 nights ago. It's too painful for me. I haven't been able to watch. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's over.
I started in 1982, the same year that Letterman's 12:30 show started, and it's not a coincidence. That was a lot of my motivation to go into comedy.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah. I used to skip college to watch his morning show. That's I did too good in college.
Yeah.
Thank God I made it in show business.
Yeah. I was playing out in summer ball out in Boulder. Joe Madden was like a player coach in '80. And Letterman had the morning show then.
Oh, yeah.
Remember seeing the one where you cut the stage on fire?
No,
the whole deal.
That was a great show, and it was so different. It was like, wow, this is somebody who speaks to me and speaks my language. It was wild.
3-0 on Castro.
Take a big swing.
He did. And he hit it foul.
A bit tardy.
For any Cub fans who are going to be out here this weekend, where are you performing?
I am performing at the Comedy Store in La Jolla, Friday and Saturday night.
Great.
I'm sure there's plenty of seats available.
Now don't.
I don't know. I actually don't know. It might be sold out, but you know what? You never know, and I never assume anyone knows who I am. I'm sure there's a lot of Cub fans right now going, "Who is this person in the booth?" and I'm sure that my show might not. You just never assume. Never assume. Just like the Bad News Bears. That's where I learned it. I don't assume.
No, you're our third guy in the booth. You know that.
I have so much fun with you guys. It's an honor. And like I told you, I have the app, so I watch the games on my iPhone, on my iPad. Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right, Starlin.
The inning is still alive.
Yes.
Be careful if you have to show it, but what happened to your finger?
Put
two fingers up. Yeah.
By the way, I'm not exaggerating. I actually hurt this doing the Tonight Show. I was doing stand-up on the Tonight Show, and I went back to my...
Careful. Put two hands. There you go.
Oh, okay.
It's a family show.
Yes. It is a family show. It's a great family show. You know, families, come on out to Wrigley Field and see the Chicago Cubs, the greatest experience. But anyhow, I came backstage after doing my set, and my finger was killing me. I got some sort of thing that everyone knows what it is. I don't even know what it is.
Just so like it was... holding a microphone from
I don't know. I hit something.
Adrenaline?
Something. I don't know. Yeah, adrenaline. Which promo am I doing? Number 5. Right. Should I do it right now?
No, wait. Hang on.
Wait. Okay.
Wait till Montero hits a homer. All right, go ahead.
Okay. On Saturday, May 30th, the Cubs take on the Kansas City Royals at 6:15. The first 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a 1915 Chicago Whales replica throwback jersey presented by Benjamin Moore. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com or go to a hardware store and buy some Benjamin Moore, or come at 6:15 in the morning, correct? Isn't that when the game is? It's 6:15 a.m. It's a special tradition now with the Royals. 6:15 in the morning. By the way, if the Cubs ever did play at 6:15, I would so be there. I would actually fly in for that game. That would be so cool.
And that will end the inning. Are you going to go over and join the Padres now? Or?
I don't think Dick Enbert's going to let me join in, but I'm going to go meet Dick
Grant
Enbert.
Will.
Yes, Mark Grant's a great guy. Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, buddy.
I'll see you guys back in
Good
Chicago.
luck this weekend. Yeah.
All right, enjoy your good looks.
Jeff Garland, everybody.
Go Cubs, go.
So good looking.
2-0 Cubs on the Chris Bryant homer in the first inning, and Kyle Hendricks has been as good as we've seen him so far tonight. The 0-1, Venable pulls it foul. How about this matchup? Dartmouth and Princeton.
Well, it's a very smart matchup.
Punched in the air out to Coughlin, and he's got it.
Wouldn't have been fitting if they went and they put blazers on with leather patches on the elbows for that matchup.
Middlebrooks has struck out his first time up. One and one. So one thing that's very obvious to anybody, and when we talk to Joe, we get all these great lines, many of which I forget, and then I remember later, and then it's too late. Many of which I read in the daily clips, and I think we should use a few of those. And I found one today from yesterday that I really liked, because he says a lot of counterintuitive things. Talking about the errors the other night, and his answer was not this, as that's bounced in the center. The answer was not, we made those mistakes, but we won't make them again. That's what all coaches say, and managers. He said the opposite. He said it's going to happen again. Our guys are going to make mistakes. People have to understand that. I don't expect these guys to be perfect. I ask them to be present. That is a great quote.
Yeah, it's it's about preparation, working hard, not taking plays off. So, if that's going on and guys kick the ball around, you can live with it as a manager.
4, 6, 3 in a double play, and that'll get Hendricks out of the 5th inning. He has been dealing so far tonight with a lot of efficiency as well. And the pitcher's best friend to end the inning, 2-0.
Clark, the official team mascot of the Cubs, can be part of your next gathering, from charity events, wedding receptions to birthday parties and grand openings. Clark wants to be a part of it. Email him directly at clark@cubs.com or visit cubs.com/Clark for more information on how to book him, that being Clark, for your special event.
Soler, Coughlin, and Hendricks I believe they call that the park in the park out there beyond the wall in the bleachers in right center.
Yeah, great
pretty cool.
Yeah. And it used to be free to sit out there on that berm. I don't know if it still is or not. Might be like $5, but spread out a blanket, let the kids roll up and down the hill. There's a little miniature field over there they can whack a wiffle ball around on.
Ranging to his left, Amarista out at first on a close play.
That ball had some topspin. Amarista had to back up a little bit to get a more convenient hop. I thought Soler would be able to beat it. Turns out it wasn't all that convenient a hop. It was a pretty play, close play, but a correctly called play.
Coghlan with a double and a line out. Espana has settled in after that rough first inning.
The Cubs had a leadoff double in the second, couldn't cash it in. 2-out double in the third. They've had base runners in every inning, but have not been able to play add-on since the first.
Tom Haudricourt, who covers the Brewers for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, talked to Will Smith and said Smith said he had a mixture of rosin and sunscreen on his arm while warming up in the pen. He forgot to remove it.
Ooh, the old forgot. You gotta get a better excuse than forgot.
Brewers' stance is pitchers everywhere do it to get grips, and hitters actually want it. That's another tweet from Tom Haudricourt.
That too is bogus.
Craig Counsell said his hitters have been hit in the head 3 times this year, and they wish pitchers had better grips on the ball. So here, I guess here's the issue. If that is all true, then this has got to come up in the next CBA discussions, right? How much are we going to allow guys to do it? If everybody does want it, they got to change the rules.
Yeah, and I don't think everybody wants it, because if you allow pitchers to take foreign substances to the mound, not a hitter on the planet that's going to be in favor of that, because it's not about just getting better grips. It's about doctoring the baseball to create unnatural movement.
On the ground to the first baseman Solarte, and he'll be Coghlan in the bag. So it sounds like Brewers and Braves not real happy with each other, but I have to defend Freddie Gonzalez on this one, because if it's blatant and it's against the rules and it gives you an advantage by forcing the other manager to have to use another reliever, I think you have to do it, or your general manager is going to say, Freddie,
plus if and it may be that they've watched Smith and some of his previous outings and watched some of the action on his pitches and said, wow, look at that. I mean, when a guy's doctoring the baseball, typically it moves differently than any other pitch. You know, if the ball is cut, it's going to have unnatural sink, or it's going to have this funky sailing action like a wiffle ball. And people that have been around the game a while are going to recognize it and say there's something going on with that baseball. And so it may be with Smith, they had seen that in some video or some advanced scouts that detected something, or maybe it was just what they saw from him tonight. That coupled with the gloss on his arm. As a manager, I got to call that guy out.
I don't know, because I haven't seen all the details and quotes, but I think what simply happened is it was that blatant because it was shining in the lights, and the Braves just said, what is that?
Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah. So we go to the bottom of the 6th here in San Diego. It's the Cubs 2 and the Padres nothing.
suggest the use of public transportation. See the red line right there? You can take the red line. That works just fine. If you ride your bike, courtesy bike check is located near Clark and Addison. If you drive, free parking and shuttle services on night and weekend games from 3900 North Rockwell. For details, Cubs.com.
Pinch hitter Clint Barmes for Despagne. As Fowler in center will grab it. One away. Happy 21st birthday, Mike Presnowski. One of the biggest Cub fans I know. Well, a quality start for the Padres, but their starter leaves, at least for now, trailing. And they lead the majors now 27 quality starts.
Yeah, they must have a fair number of clunkers, too, because their overall starters ERA is not particularly good.
Well, Despagne's last two were really bad.
Clunkers, yeah. Padres, a 4.34 ERA out of their starters, 12th best in the National League.
Fowler will take this one as well. Spangenberg is out. Or Spandau something.
Well,
two outs, it's Derek Norris.
See, that's the thing about Hendricks. As a hitter, you watch him warm up. You're hanging out over there in the dugout, watching him do his thing in the first thing. I can get this guy. Doesn't throw real hard. Doesn't have this nasty breaking ball. So you go up there in swing mode, and he just carves you up. You want to swing the bat? Okay, here's one. You might kind of like it, but it's just a little bit down. It's got some sinking action. Here comes that changeup to fool you. And the next thing you know, it's a lot of comfortable offers. And he's got 67 pitches with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
That was a cutter. 1 ball, 1 strike. I think this will be the biggest crowd of the series. That's in there. Almost 26 2 nights ago, just over 25 last night. I'm going to go like, 20, 27-5, 28 maybe.
All right.
Would that be a reach?
Seems reasonable. No.
Okay. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the inning is over. Cubs trying to win the rubber match, leading on the Chris Bryant home run in the first. Still 2-0.
At bat is up to the moment. at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet.
So that is a beautiful shot of Coronado.
Yep.
Point Loma in the background. You ever been out there?
I've been over to Coronado.
Gorgeous.
Once or twice.
Not Gale Sayers, it's Dale Thayer for the Padres.
That's our first look at Thayer in this series. He's pitched well, 2.95 ERA. He gets 2.58 against him.
He was actually drafted by the Cubs in 1999 in the 47th round out of high school. He did not sign. Eventually signed as an undrafted free agent with the Padres in 2002. It's not like he gave up a lot of money. If you're taken in the 47th round and you sign,
yeah, you're not cashing a big check. Not unless if you're a draft and follow back in the day,
right?
And you signed prior to the next year's draft, maybe.
1-1 on Russell. 1 out of 2.
Not a bad idea to play a little add-on here.
Well, on cue. Gone. 3-0. Good call.
Well, that was a nice swing of the bat. Last time up, he hit that line drive to right field, and we always say, boy, when a guy starts showing you the ability to stay inside the ball, hit it hard the other way, good things are going to happen. He shoots the line drive the other way and then yanks this one. Bad breaking ball, a little cement mixture that stays on the inner half. Smothers that ball. That's your Ford home run replay, number 3 for Russell.
His first in 17 days. So the Cubs have hit a couple tonight.
He kind of sneaks up on these guys. If you don't know him, you don't know the resume. You say, well, he's a second baseman hitting 9th. He can't have a lot of power. Doesn't fit the description. He's got plenty of power.
Called strike. It's 1-2. And they get Fowler. Not keeping the ball in the ballpark like they used to. So that's first decade plus here in this ballpark versus this season. Time for our Xfinity high-speed action. 2 batters in, 2-run homer.
See if Thayer doubles up inside or if he goes with a slider away. Sinker down and in, they're going to try. Change up.
2-2. A lot of rain in Baltimore today, but they did play 8.5, and the Orioles beat the Mariners 5-4. Steve Pearce hit a grand slam. The first of his career. That was in the opening inning. Foul tip, strike 3.
Good work there by Thayer. Mixing the changeup and then elevating the fastball to get Bryant. Just couldn't quite catch up to that high heater.
Jacob deGrom at one point today sent down 23 consecutive Cardinal hitters in a Mets 5-0 victory. Lucas Duda went deep twice.
So those teams split a 4-game set. The Mets won the opener of the series, a 2-1 ball game, I believe. Then the Cardinals exploded the next 2 nights. DeGrom slammed the door today.
Jaime Garcia made his first major league start since June of last year as Rizzo pops out to Middlebrooks. So we're in the late innings. We go to the last of the 7th. The Cubs adding on, now leading 3-0. Hendricks looking for his first win of the 2015 campaign.
He's pitched well enough to win at times this year, but this is a dandy he has dialed up so far here tonight. Now he faces 3-4-5 for the 3rd time. So far hasn't been much of an issue. And collectively, that group just one hit, a 2-out single by Upton back in the 4th. Kempier has punched out twice. He's looked bad both times.
Did not get the low strike that time. 1-0 on Kemp. That's a strike. It's 2-1. Wild game in Detroit today. The Tigers had a 5-0 lead. It slipped away. The Astros came back late, sent it to extras, and then James McCann with a game-ending home run as there's a leadoff single for Kemp. The bottom of the 11th. Ball game. And remember, they moved the fence in there a few years ago. They opened Comerica. You had to hit it into the stands.
Pitch for the Astros hit his first major league home run in the top of the 9th to tie that ball game. Preston Tucker.
Yep. Left-handed hitting outfielder. Pulled foul.
There's not been a whole lot of hard contact off of Kyle here tonight. Kemp hit his base hit pretty well. That was a bit of a hanger there to Upton. Caught him out front. He got away with it. This will be the first indication of any fatigue. See if that gets anybody going in the Cubs bullpen.
Rockies over the Phillies, 7-3 the final.
Rays beat the A's. David DeJesus hit a home run.
A's are 14-29. See if they can turn it here. They'll get only one.
High bounding ball, and Upton runs well. Not particularly close there at first. Dangerous situation there with Upton up and a man on base. He's really been swinging it well.
It's Mott and Russell.
And so the A's are 15 games below 500, but their run differential is only minus 14.
Well, they've lost all those one-run games.
Yeah.
Popped him up. Castro's got it. 2 outs.
Now, conversely, the Cubs came into play tonight having scored as many as they've given up. So they should be, by baseball's Pythagorean theorem, they should be a 500 club. But they won a bunch of one-run games. 5 games better than 500, looking to go 6 better.
Venable chops to Hendricks. Cloud barely breaking a sweat tonight. He's been terrific. We go to the 8th. Cubs leading 3-0. (5-0) in the month of May as the Cubs battle the Diamondbacks. Coverage starts at 8 with Cubs pregame live presented by Fields Auto on CSN Plus. From the desert, Sean Kelly is on here in the 8th.
Well, Kelly has had his struggles here with that 8.38 ERA. That's a lot of traffic in 9 2/3, 14 hits plus 5 walks. First year in a Padre uniform after spending a couple seasons with the Yankees. Throws fastballs and sliders. Leans heavily on that slider.
From Louisville, Kentucky, went to Austin Peay State, Sean Kelly. Ground ball into the shift. That's the shortstop, Amarista. So Starlin now 2 for 4 tonight.
Kelly missed a couple of weeks with the calf strain.
You know where he spent some time on his rehab assignment?
No.
The El Paso Chihuahuas. Fouled back by Montero.
You see, is it Baseball America doing this logo, minor league logo contest, like a bracketology thing?
I think they do that every year or so, don't they?
I don't know. I just caught it on Twitter.
Where are they? Are they near the end?
Yeah, they were down to like a final 8 the last time I checked. So they got the different bracket. They got traditional. They've got non-traditional. They got like 4 different categories. Always been kind of partial to the Toledo Mud Hens.
Chattanooga Lookouts for me. Slider and inside on Montero. Got to vote for the Williamsport Crosscutters in the truck.
No screaming yellow parakeets, though.
Was that your made up if you owned a team? That's what you'd call it?
Yeah.
This screaming yellow parakeets.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if parakeets are yellow, if they scream. I don't know. It's been with us, with me since college.
So did you play at Hawaii while you were at AAA?
Never did the Hawaii
thing. Hawaii Islanders existed in the Pacific Coast League from 1961 to 87, and I believe teams would go there for an entire week just to save on travel. As Soler grounds out. 1-2-3 go the Cubs in the 8th, but they have a 3-0 lead late. Kyle Hendricks, a strike on Will Middlebrooks. 21st big league start for Hendricks. He's completed 8 innings once. That was in Colorado, of all places, last year on August 7th. He's gone beyond 7 twice. And this is his longest start in terms of innings this season.
You get to this point in the game, the way Hendricks has carved up these hitters, and he can visualize in his mind before the pitch. Now, if I make this pitch the way these guys are reacting to my stuff tonight, I'm going to get my little ground ball. Doesn't always work out that way, but you get in. Talk about being in the zone. He's in there pretty deep.
In fact, this is his 8th start this year. He had only gone 6 innings once prior to tonight, and he's into the 8th. Has not hit 100 pitches yet this season.
So
AT&T U-verse multi-view. Pitching coach always an important guy here late as he gets on the phone to the bullpen.
Yeah, well, he's in bonus time now, isn't he? I mean, obviously, if you've gone to Joe Madden before the game and said, Kyle Hendricks will give you 7 innings tonight, will you take it, or do you want what's behind the curtain? He said, yeah, I'd be happy with 7 innings. He's into the 8th with a shutout.
Ground ball. Russell at first. Safe.
Wow, what a play.
What an effort. I didn't think he had a prayer.
No, you don't see second baseman typically make that play that far out behind the bag, drifting towards center field, because now there's such a long throw to make back across the body.
And he beat it. What an effort.
How far on the shortstop side that ball is.
Here's Amarista. Jed Jerko on deck. And ball 1.
The one thing you have to guard against if you're Kyle Hendricks is getting too far ahead of yourself. You're pitching this beautiful game. You're kind of nearing the end of the line. You've gotten to this point by just taking that one hitter, one pitch at a time approach.
Russell comes in, and they're going to turn it. That's a good aggressive play by Russell. Not to wait back on a ball that wasn't hit that hard, and Amarista runs well. 4-6-3.
Aggressively pursue that ground ball. The little flip to Castro. On to Rizzo. Outs on the ground on my scorecard. Margin of error probably plus or minus 2 is a pretty good chance.
Counting double plays as 2 outs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so this logo, they're into their final 4 now, as a matter of fact. So there's the traditional, the oddities, the creatures, and the abstract. And the final 4 now are the Toledo Mudhens, the Richmond Flying Squirrels, the Biloxi Shuckers, and the Hillsboro Hops.
Aren't the Biloxi Shuckers on the road like for half the season? Because of their ballpark being built or renovated?
I don't know.
55-game road trip.
Oh my, hang with them. Shuckers.
Yeah, just a few we like. The Lugnuts is just a great name, but I think that Lookouts logo is tremendous. '55-game trip. Double-A affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers. Swing and a miss. Hendricks threw 8. Let's see if his manager gives him a shot in the 9th. Whatever the case is, it's 3-0.
Hendricks with a helmet on?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he is, well, you know, and Joe Madden would tell you, well, I'm not sending him back out there to reward him because he's pitched well. I'm sending him back out there because his pitch count is right, and he's giving me the best chance to finish off this ball game the way he's going along. Obviously, there'll be guys ready to provide support out in the bullpen. He's talking bunt strategy now here with him if Coughlin reaches.
I don't think he's going to swing. And I think because Joe wants to let him have a shot at finishing the game, he doesn't want him running the bases. And hope he just misses on 4, I guess. Gets to first, but I don't think he wants him standing out there too long. Well, Rondon will be ready if needed. Now, yeah, if Coughlin gets on, they'll bunt.
Yeah, that's the best case scenario. Coughlin reaches and Hendricks moves him along. Here's Corey Mazzoni now for the Padres, a rookie right-hander. Acquired at the end of March from the Mets for left-hander Alex Torres.
And a strike on Coughlin.
Couple good sliders to get started from Mazzoni. Reminiscent of Luke Gregerson in a Padre uniform.
And of course, it goes without saying, we love all the logos of all the Cubs minor league affiliates.
Well, the Smokies made, I think I saw that they made it to the
Tennessee Smokies
round. Yeah.
Called strike 3. I get a little giddy on nights like this, and you have to as well as a former starting pitcher. We never see this.
Yeah, a chance for a complete game shutout.
I wasn't even thinking about the shutout, just the fact that
game.
A guy has a chance to maybe finish what he started.
There have been 7 complete games in the National League this year. 7 in the American League. So 30 clubs, 14 complete games. Gives you an idea how rare they are. Talked a lot about Cub hitters accepting their walks. Kyle just accepted his strikeout.
98 pitches through 8 shutout innings. No walks, 5 hits. He's struck out 7. So Hendricks has to feel good about winning this game, but I guess the analogy as he starts the bottom of the 9th would be somewhat like a golfer on the 18th hole knowing he's got to pick up a birdie at least. So it's not like he can just get out of the 9th with nobody on base. If he gives up 2 base runners, he's out.
Right.
So if he wants to finish this game, it's got to be a good bottom of the 9th. That's always the goal, but I don't think Joe will give him a long leash.
No, because if you ultimately decide you have to go to Rondon, you want to give him a little wiggle room. So you don't want to let run to score and a couple guys on base and then go to Rondon.
You can't hit the tee shot in the rough and then save it. You got to hit it down the middle.
So the leadoff walk would be like hitting the ball OB.
Right. And oh, by the way, Kyle's a fantastic golfer, and he doesn't even play very much.
He's so good he got bored with it.
Chop foul. Russell gave him a little more insurance with that home run in the 7th off Dale Thayer.
Hyun-Jin Ryu done for the year. He had the surgery on his shoulder.
Yeah, they're banged up beyond the top 2 guys. Picked up by Spangenberg, and the inning is over. So Kyle Hendricks back out for the bottom of the 9th. 3-0 Cubs. his first career complete game and shutout as he faces the top of the order here. Spangenberg, Norris, and Kemp, with Hector Rondon at the ready in the bullpen.
Well, old school baseball 101 says that Spangenberg should be taking a strike here. Down 3. He's not a power hitter. They need base runners, so that means they should be able to be pretty aggressive here. Looking for strike 1. He just missed with that first offering. He's not taking anything.
Lined right to Castro.
That's why I qualified that statement with old school baseball 101. Why take pitches when you got a guy in the mound that's pumping strikes in there, right? Might be the hardest ball they've hit tonight.
Norris digs in.
What's a Maddox? Complete game less than 100 pitches?
I think so, yeah.
101 now. Not quite a Maddox, but Maddox-like for sure.
That's number 2. That look has not changed all night.
No, and I was just thinking if he finishes this off, will we get a smile out of him? There's not going to be a big fist pump or a whole lot of emotion. Solid professional. Carving up the Padre hitters here tonight.
The 0-1 to Kemp is outside. Maybe overthrew that a bit.
Not straight from the rubber. He gets the ball back. He looks in for the sign. He's ready to go.
Fly ball to right. Soler has it. Cubs win. Kyle Hendricks with a little half smile. As he and Miguel Montero congratulate one another. 3-0 the final. A 5-hit shutout. And oh, by the way, a night getaway. We're heading to Phoenix. You kind of like the quick game, too, and his teammates are going to appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those guys you like to see work on getaway day. But, boy, the performance tonight was just spectacular by Hendricks. 5 hits, all singles, very little hard contact, a couple of those base hits, infield hits. And Montero working nicely together. And now the big smile. Realizes what he has just accomplished. Complete game shutout. And boy, how about when you talk about the future of the Cubs? Brian goes deep, Russell goes deep, Hendricks with the shutout.
Binny's Beverage Depot toast of the game. First complete game shutout for the Cubs this season. The last was by Jake Arrieta. Remember that gem against the Reds last year on September 16th. But as you mentioned, there just wasn't much hard contact off him tonight.
No, he's such a good pitcher. He understands situations. When he had base runners, that's when he really went to work with that ground ball pitch. Got a couple double plays. Change up going. Had everything going.
We're back with you tomorrow night from Phoenix, Arizona.
on CSN Plus as the Cubs take on the Diamondbacks. 8 o'clock Central for our pregame coverage. Stay tuned. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs postgame live coming next. Cubs win 3-0 the final.